activities may be divided into two classes. One class may be for achieving a certain goal, and the other may be for avoiding some unfavorable circumstance. In Sanskrit, these activities are called pravritti and nivritti, positive and negative action. There are many examples of negative action. For example, a diseased person has to be cautious and take medicine in order to avoid some unfavorable illness. Those who are cultivating spiritual life and executing devotional service are always engaged in activity. Such activity can be performed with the mind or with the body or with the mind. Thinking, feeling, and willing are all activities of the mind, and when we will to do something, the activity comes to be manifest by the gross bodily senses. Thus, in our mental activities, we should always try to think of Krishna and try to plan how to please him, following in the footsteps of the great acharyas and the personal spiritual master. There are activities of the body, activities of the different senses, and activities of speech. A Krishna conscious person engages his words in preaching the glories of the Lord. This is called kirtana. And by his mind, a Krishna conscious person always thinks of the activities of the Lord as he is speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra or engaging in his various pastimes at Vrindavan with his devotees. In this way, one can always think of the activities and pastimes of the Lord. This is the mental culture of Krishna consciousness.
So, Krishna consciousness is not inactivity. This we have discussed yesterday. Actually, the activity is being influenced by the soul, but it is being expressed through intelligence, mind, and body. The activities are coming from the spiritual platform, but because it is now contaminated by the material coverings, these activities are not very adjusted. Diseased activities. The thinking, feeling, and willing. This thinking, feeling, and willing is now polluted on account of material coverings. Therefore, we have to revert to the thinking, feeling, and willing by Krishna consciousness. As it is explained here, that we shall always think of Krishna's activities. We shall always feel for satisfying Krishna, and we shall always will to enact as he desires. The same feeling, nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe yukta vairāgyam uchyate. Srila Rupa Goswami has given us two formulas how to become Krishna conscious or how to remain in Krishna consciousness. So one formula is that anasaktasya visayana jathāraham upajunjata. You should not be attached to the Visayas. Just like we have got a tendency to construct a skyscraper building, as in your country you do. So, you should not be attached to the skyscraper building, but you can utilize the tendency by constructing a big temple like skyscraper for Krishna. In this way, you have to purify your material activities. Actually, in pure Krishna consciousness, there is nothing material. I have several times explained, material activities means activities without Krishna consciousness. That is material activity. Just like we are speaking through this microphone, we do not reject it as material. We take it as spiritual because it is being used in spreading Krishna consciousness. Anasaktasya viṣayam yathā arambha pujanya yathā arhati, as it deserves, because this microphone is made of material elements, earth, water, fire, air. But this, if we remember that these material energies, earth, water, air, fire, sky, even mind, intelligence, ego, prakriti mein bhinna astada. They are also energies of Krishna. They are not separate from Krishna. Therefore, if Krishna is spirit, then these so-called material elements, they are also spirit. But it is used as material because we do not remember the relationship of these material elements with Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is, when we are forgetful of Krishna, then it is material. Otherwise, there is nothing as material. Everything is spiritual. Because Brahmaṇaḥ Shakti, it is described in the Viṣṇu Purāṇa. Eka-deśa sthitasyāgner jyotsnā vistāriṇī yathā sarvedaṁ Brahmaṇaḥ Shakti. I just don't remember the full verse. So everything, this is Śakti-pariṇāma-vāda. Śakti-pariṇāma-vāda. Everything, Sarvaṁ khalu idaṁ brahma, everything that we experience, that is manifestation of the energy of Krishna. Sarvedam akhilaṁ jagat. Brahmaṇaḥ Shakti. Shakti and śaktimān, they are not different. So if we accept everything as expansion of Brahmaṇaḥ Shakti, energy of Krishna, and utilize it for Krishna, then there is nothing such thing as material. Everything becomes spiritual. So, if we think in that way, thinking, feeling and willing, if we utilize our psychological activities in Krishna consciousness, then we keep steady attached with Krishna. Yukta vairāgam uchyat. Vairāgam means renunciation. We do not require to renounce anything, provided we see everything dovetailed in Krishna consciousness. That is required. Gone.
Similarly, we can offer many services with our bodily activities, but all such activities must be in relationship with Krishna. This relationship is established by connecting oneself with the bona fide spiritual master, who is the direct representative of Krishna in disciplic succession. Therefore, the execution of Krishna consciousness activities with the body should be directed by the spiritual master and then performed with faith.
Yes. We should not manufacture in our own way that this is Krishna's activity. It must be confirmed by the spiritual master. Srila Viṣṇu Chakravarti Thakur has explained in his comment on Bhagavad Gita in connection with the verse, Vyavasāyatmika buddhi rekeha kurunandana. Vyavasāyatmika buddhi, niścayatmika buddhi. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that whatever order I get from my spiritual master, that is my life and soul. I must execute it thoroughly, without caring for my personal inconvenience or inconvenience. That is called vyavasādmika buddhi, eka. We cannot manufacture anything as Krishna conscious activities, but we must be ready always to carry out the order of spiritual master who is representative of Krishna. Sakshat haritvena samasta shastrai. The spiritual master is recognized as a bona fide representative of Krishna, Sakshat haritvena. Therefore, he should be offered respect as good as to Krishna, and jasya prasadad bhagavat prasad. And if we can please our spiritual master, then we please Krishna. Just somebody says that Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, he is no longer present, then how we shall execute Krishna's order? Krishna's order can be executed by executing the order of the spiritual master. Jasya prasadad bhagavat prasad. We cannot disobey. Jasya prasadat nagati kutobi. This is the process. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it has been very extensively explained what is the position of the spiritual master. But at the same time, the spiritual master does not accept himself as he is God or Krishna, like the Mayavadis. No, the bona fide spiritual master always thinks of himself as the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. Gopi bhattu padakamalayū dasa dasanudasa. Not that because my disciple accepts me as good as Krishna, and because my disciples offer me respect, exactly he offers respect to Krishna, that does not mean I am Krishna. I am servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. This is the position. Go on.
The connection with the spiritual master is called initiation. From the date of initiation by the spiritual master, the connection between Krishna and a person cultivating Krishna consciousness is established. Without initiation by a bona fide spiritual master, the actual connection with Krishna consciousness is never performed.
Yes. We must connect with the current. Just like you have fitted your room, electrical wires, but if you do not touch it with the current going on, the simply electrical fitting will not help you. Similarly, initiation is essential. Ādau gurvāsram. Srila Rupa Goswami recommends in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, for executing proper spiritual life, one must take shelter of the bona fide spiritual master. Tasmad gurum prapaddeta jigyasu sreya uttamam. Person who is actually interested in uttamam. Uttamam means transcendental. Udgata tamam. After darkness. This material world is darkness. Tamasi ma jyotirgama. The spiritual world is full of light. Therefore, anything spiritual That is called Uttamam. Then Krishna's another name is Uttama Sloka. Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naisthiki. Krishna does not belong to this material world. Only the fools and rascals, they think of Krishna having material body. Avajananti manga mudha manusim tanuvasita. Krishna is always in his spiritual body, Satchidananda Vigraha. Ishara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Similarly, if we establish our bona fide relationship with the spiritual master, representative of Krishna, immediately our connection with Krishna becomes established. Go on.
The cultivation of Krishna consciousness is not material. The Lord has generally three energies, namely the external energy, the internal energy, and the marginal energy. The living entities are called marginal energy, and the material cosmic manifestation is the action of the external or material energy. Then
Parasa Shakti Vividayasiyate, the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead, has got innumerable multi-energies. Out of that, learned scholars, devotees, they have divided the whole energy into three: external, internal, and marginal. So, the living entities, they are production of the marginal energy. The living entity is energy, prakriti, not the Purusha. Purusha is Krishna. We are all prakritis, all living entities. Prakriti means predominated, and Purusha means predominator. Just like we see ordinarily, husband and wife, the husband is predominator and the wife is predominated. Although there is no difference between husband and wife, they are one divided into two. Similarly, Prakriti and Purush, they are one. They are not two. It is explained by Sarvaṁ, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikiti Alladini Shakti Rasma Ekatmanavapit Puradeho Bhedo Gatoto. Radha Krishna, they are one. But although they are one, they bifurcated themselves as Radha and Krishna. So there is no difference between Radha and Krishna. Radha is the superior energy or spiritual energy, and Krishna is the energy. Similarly, this material world is external energy. Similarly, the living entities, they are marginal energy between the external and internal energy. The living entities are called marginal energy because the living energy has to act under another energy, that either material energy or spiritual energy. So, when the living entity is under spiritual energy, that is his normal condition. And when he is under the material energy, that is his abnormal condition. We should always remember, material energy means forgetfulness of Krishna. Just like in this material world, Everything is there, but it is lacking in Krishna consciousness. You travel all over the world, you will see there is profuse arrangement of sense gratification, but there is no arrangement for understanding Krishna. This is called material energy. But if you bring in Krishna in the so-called material energy, it becomes spiritual energy. Therefore, this Krishna consciousness movement is awakened that spiritual energy of the living entity. Mahatmanastu mang partha daivi prakriti masi. The Mahatma and Duratma. What is the difference? The difference is the Duratma is under the influence of external energy. Bohirarthamanina. Nati vidu sartha gating hi Viṣṇu Durāsayaji bohirarthaman. When we are too much engrossed with the concept of bodily life, I am this body, I am American, I am Indian, I am Brahman, I am Kshatri. When we are influenced by the bodily concept of life, that is called material energy. And when we are influenced by the spiritual energy, we always think that I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. Gopi bhattu padakamale udas udasanudas. Nahang vipra nachanarapati. I am neither Brahmin or Kshatriya or Vaishya and Shudra or Sannyasi or Brahmachari. This is a verse given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He denies any material designation. And he informs us also that Jive Sarup hoy Nitya Krishna Das. When we feel actually that I am eternal servant of Krishna, that is our liberation. Hitya unnatha rupam sarupena avasthiti. This is sarup. When you are existing as servant of Krishna, then you are mukta, liberated. You haven't got to endeavor separately for becoming free or liberated. Go on.
Then there is the spiritual world, which is a manifestation of the internal energy. The living entities who are called marginal energy perform material activities when acting under the inferior external energy. And when they engage in activities under the internal spiritual energy, their activities are called Krishna conscious. This means that those who are great souls or great devotees do not act under the spell of material energy, but act instead under the protection of the spiritual energy.
They do not act under the influence. Ordinary person, they see that devotees are acting like us. No, their activities are under the influence of spiritual energy. It looks similar like the karmis, gyanis, but bhaktas are different from karmis and gyanis. Jnana karmad anavritam. They are not influenced by the tenets of jnana and karma. They are influenced by activities which can satisfy Krishna. Anukullena Krishnānusilanam. Anusilanam, activities, culture. Anukullena Krishnānusilanam. So they are simply engaged in Krishna activities, although it looks similar to the ordinary activities. Therefore they misunderstand. Just like Arjuna. Arjuna is fighting and another soldier is fighting the other side. But Arjuna's activities as soldier is devotional service because he is trying to please Krishna. Other side, they are fighting for their own interests, how to become victorious and take up the kingdom. That was their idea. Here, Arjuna, he did not like to fight. But when he understood that Krishna deserves this fighting, he engaged him. Therefore, his fighting was to satisfy Krishna, not to satisfy his senses. As it is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. To satisfy one's own senses, that is called calm. And to satisfy the senses of Krishna, that is called prem. This is the difference. Go on.
Any activities done in devotional service or in Krishna consciousness are directly under the control of spiritual energy. In other words, energy is a sort of strength, and this strength can be spiritual.
This is spiritual energy. That's why Arjuna is fighting. That energy is inspired by Krishna. So Arjuna took it. I must fight. Krishna wants it. I must satisfy Krishna. This is spiritual energy. Just see. The other party, they are also fighting in the same energy. But they have no Krishna consciousness. So, to act in Krishna consciousness is nothing wonderful. Simply, you have to divert the energy for Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. Everyone has got energy, but when it is enacted for one's sense gratification, that is material. And when it is enacted for the satisfaction of Krishna, that is spiritual. Try to understand the difference between material and spiritual. Go on.
In other words, energy is a sort of strength, and this strength can be spiritualized by the mercy of both the bona fide spiritual master and Krishna.
Guru Krishna Kripaya Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. We have to acquire this energy through the mercy of Guru and Krishna. The Krishna is within as Chaitya Guru, and when we are serious, he comes out as the spiritual master. Sikha Guru, Dikha Guru. So there is no difference between Sikha Guru and Dikha Guru and Krishna. Krishna manifests himself externally as Sikha Guru and Dikha Guru.
In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Lord Chaitanya states that it is a fortunate person who comes in contact with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. One who is serious about spiritual life is given by Krishna the intelligence to come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master. And then, by the grace of the spiritual master, one becomes advanced in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, this is the statement in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. এই রূপে ব্রহ্মাণ্ড ভ্রমিতে কোনো ভাগ্যবান জীব গুরু কৃষ্ণ কৃপায় পায় ভক্তিলতা বীজ. We are wandering in different species of life, in different planets. ব্রহ্মাণ্ড ভ্রমিতে কোনো ভাগ্যবান জীব, not all, fortunate. One must be very much fortunate to come in contact with Krishna and Guru. So, how that fortune becomes possible? This is called Ajnata Sukriti. Sukriti and Duskriti, these two words are used in Bhagavad Gita. Namang Duskritunam Mudha Prabhadante Narad. There is the word Duskriti and Sukriti. Chaturvida bhajante mam Sukriti na Arjuna. So this Sukriti, this fortune, there is a chance which is called Ajnata Sukriti. Ajnata Sukriti means just like Krishna's representative is preaching all over the world. And if somebody comes in contact with that representative of Krishna and satisfies him, he acquires some ajnata sukriti. This is called ajnata sukriti. He does not know what spiritual benefit he is achieving by serving the representative of Krishna. He does not know, but he acquires it imperceptibly. This is called ajnata sukriti. So when ajnata sukriti is accumulated, then he becomes fortunate. That is called kono bhagavanaji. Just like Sukadeva Goswami is describing about the cowherd boys who are playing with Krishna. Ithang brahma sukhanubhutya dasangatanang paradaivatena mayasitanang naradarukena sadhang vijarahu kritapunna punya. Kritapunna punya. These boys who are playing with Krishna as cowherd boys, they are not ordinary boys. Sukadeva Goswami says. They are kritapunna punya. For many, many lives, they accumulated their pious activities, and thus now they have got the association of Krishna to play with him. Kritapunna punya. Similarly, these ajnata sukriti, when they are accumulated, just like you deposit in the bank 4 annas, 2 annas, in this way, one day it becomes 100 rupees. Similarly, this ajnata sukriti, when they are accumulated, that makes the fortune of a person to associate with Guru and Krishna. Ei rupe brahmaṇaḥ bhramite kono bhagavanaji. Guru Krishna kripaye paye bhaktilata bij. Mali haiya sei bij karaye ropa. Sarvaṁ kirtan jale karaye. So, bij means seed. Bhaktilata seed. Bhakti is compared just like a creeper. The creeper does not stand alone. It embraces another tree and then it grows. Similarly, bhakti lata, bhakti always embraces the lotus feet of Krishna and then grows. Therefore it is called bhakti lata. So bhakti lata bij. If one is fortunate by accumulating this imperceptible good activities by association with devotee, then he gets this bhaktilata bij, the seed of bhaktilata. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends mali haiya sei bij karaye ropa. Just like you get some nice seed of rose flower. So if you sow it on the ground, just becoming a nice gardener, and pour water, then it gradually grows. So we have to take the bhaktilata bij from the bona fide spiritual master and sow it within the heart. Tad jyotsnā asu apavargavatmani saddha bhakti ranukramish. And pour water, just like simply sowing the seed is not, your business is finished. You have to sow, you have to pour water. So what is that pouring water? Mali haiya sei bij karaye ropan savana kirtan jale karaye sach. This is the watering. Hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna. So you take the bhaktilata bij from the spiritual master, that is called initiation, and develop it by pouring water of hearing and chant. Then it will grow. One day it will grow so big that it will penetrate the walls of this universe It will go to the spiritual world and gradually go to the Goloka Vrindavan and catch up the lotus feet of Krishna and then produce its fruits, and you'll enjoy by eating the fruits. Go on. What is the time?
6 o'clock.
All right. Hare Krishna.